more. I wish you all the best, my leader. Chairman,
Thank you.
that will be all.
Thank you, Honorable Patrick Yaboma. You have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations, Kofi. Chairman, you need to protect your member from undue harassment from the member from Pusiga. Kofi, you are promising the people of this country that you are going to abolish VAT on mining. And also proceeds from mining, let me put it that way. And also offset and use part of the 5% royalties for infrastructure development. That's a very popular position of Honorable Collins Dowda. I know the chiefs have sent him here to ask that question, so I've taken that from him. How are you going to do this? It requires a lot of amendments from you and the government, and it's going to be a drain on our revenue base. What steps are you going to take to ensure that this is done? Thank you.
Chairman, obviously these are matters that lies with the Ministry of Finance, working closely with them. And when I get a note, these are manifesto proposals that must be fleshed out. I'll engage the Ministry of Finance and we'll see the way forward.
Second question, no follow-up on the first one. Which aspects of the Lands Act are you going to seek amendments to on the floor of Parliament? I realize you've spoken at length on the Lands Act of 2020, and you seem to have some challenges with some aspects of the Lands Act. Which aspects do you have issues with, and what amendments will you be bringing to the floor?
I think the only thing I've said is that LI 2462 that deals with mining in forest reserve must be repealed, and that's what I intend to do. I am sure that when I get to the ministry, we will have a comprehensive review of the Lands Act. I'm not able to tell you specific areas that must be focused on at this point.
Last question, Chairman. I'm being brief. There is a policy in your manifesto on the extractive sector. And there's also a policy position on the salt industry. And if you look at Article 2681 and 2, you require a certain number of MPs to ratify some of these concessions, transactions, and dealings. It's a very difficult hurdle to surmount. And it's hindered a lot of ratifications on the floor. Do you think, as a House now, we should look at lowering the threshold to enable a lot of investors coming into those sectors, salt and other extractive industries? I wish you the very best, Kofi.
Thank you, Chairman. These are finite resources, and I think that threshold is there for a good reason. We must all agree that this is the position that is in the interest of the country. If we are agreeing to allow resources that are finite to be given to any foreign investor, the two-stage threshold is important. I do not see that we should use it. And I believe that it doesn't matter where you are. The interest of the people of Ghana must always guide our decisions. And so if the agreements are going to be right, there's no point in reducing the bar at all.
Yeah. Minister, the chairman gave me a follow-up. You realize that we had some leases before the 8th Parliament expired. some of which are on bauxite, lithium, and other leases. Are you going to consider reintroducing them to the House, subject to your own reviews and internal arrangements? Thank you.
Chairman, I'm not at the ministry yet. I'm sure when I get to the ministry, I will properly get the briefings that are required and the right decisions will be made on behalf of the people of Ghana.
Thank you. It's now the turn of Vice Chairman, Honorable Rickett.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable nominee, Kofi, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, if I can call my friend Kofi. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chairman.
I have no doubt in my mind that you've been a tried and tested leader in this House, been a tried and tested minister in the days of your time at the Energy Ministry. So I know you do well, and it's a very good appointment. I just have a couple of questions for you. The ministry you are going to is quite a challenging ministry. There is a lot going on in this country with that ministry. What will be of course, you'll be inundated with a lot of issues. But when you arrive there, what will be your top 3 priorities when you are given the nod? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, the first priority is to stop the bleeding and make sure that we bring sanity in the mining area and allow legal mining, and make sure that in areas where water has been polluted, we heal our rivers, we heal our water bodies, we heal our forests and bring back our biodiversity and ecology back, and even plant more trees. And continue the process by making sure that finally we are able to get people in all these mining areas to accept that the way forward in this country is not to destroy our forests and our water bodies, but if you are interested in mining, there's a better way to do it. That is clearly a priority. My second priority would be that in the lands ministry, we have done things to allow the people of Ghana to access services in a very efficient manner.
Thank you very much. Chairman, I'm satisfied with the answer, so there will not be a follow-up on this particular question. But my next question, this I think will be an opinion, because I'm not aware of any such policy. But can I ask my question? I have seen it. Just in your own opinion, or if you've spotted anything anywhere, but what would you, Ghana is a country that has abundant in terms of natural resources. We've been producing gold for hundreds of years, diamonds and all that. But yet we are not getting enough. We don't seem to be getting enough export revenue, enough royalties, enough carried interest. What will be your priority in terms of the table of minerals that I have mentioned, that you will focus on, or to add on to what we are already doing, to make sure that we expand our export revenue base and also be able to get all the other benefits that we get in terms of carried interest and royalties? Thank you.
Thank you,
Honorable
Chairman.
nominee, it is not your opinion, but your priority.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I think it's a very important question. There are a lot of new minerals we describe as green minerals that are very critical. But Chairman, I think we talked a lot about lithium. There's salt there's clinker, there's clay. We must look at these new minerals as an opportunity to basically change the narrative and make sure that these new minerals are where we are going to really, we must add value to the things we have comparative advantage and change our story. I've said that if we discover new mineral today, we say that we are looking for those who will come and add the value here. And I tell you this, if we insist that that's all we want, we will get the companies that will do that. So that the industries that will create the jobs and give us the ultimate advantages in terms of value is what we will create. And so going forward, I think we must take the past experiences and look at these green minerals as an opportunity to transform our country and change our economy. And as minister, that is what I will drive.
Thank you. Mentioning lithium, you are right, discovered, lithium in commercial quantities, especially in the central region. Agreements are being signed, more will be signed in the future. As a minister, how would you ensure that the agreements that we sign, the opportunities that are created in the way of jobs and other proceeds that we get are actually done in the interests of all of us in Ghana, but not a selected few? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I think that this is a very important question. These big investors that are coming to Ghana to negotiate these agreements are coming with top-notch firms and lawyers. I think Ghana must also be ready to go to the negotiating table with all the experts in the world, the best practices in the world, to make sure that we understand that when we are doing these negotiations, we are doing it for over 30 million Ghanaians who have given us their trust to make sure we can make the right decisions on their behalf. As minister, I will be guided by this principle in any negotiation to make sure that in all of these negotiations, Ghana wins.
Honorable Emmanuel Amakofibwa, I wish you all the best in your new ministry. I know that you will get through, and I know you do a good job for Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the chief whip, who is acting as the ranking member. Honorable members, by practice, the ranking members are not limited to the number of questions they are supposed to ask. So I'll go by the practice and convention and what the committee has agreed upon. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Chairman, let me start off by joining colleagues to commend our former deputy leader. We've had a very good working relationship. And just a number of questions. Honorable nominee, I've heard you speak eloquently about the newfound minerals. And I hear you, your passion. What are the hindsight lessons flowing from what we are used to? Hindsight lessons you are bringing on board for maximum benefit to country and people, and departing from the challenges associated with the traditional minerals.
Thank you, Chairman. I think we've made some progress in the extractive industry in terms of where we've come from. And I'm very proud as former energy minister that when oil companies dragged their feet on how quick we can move in terms of flaring of gas. And in this particular case, we remember His Excellency John J.E. Mills, may so rest in peace, and President Mahama, who were steadfast that we must stop flaring and make sure that we monetize our gas. Today, it is truly a benefit for the people of Ghana. I think we must continue to make sure that as we go forward, we learn these lessons and ensure that the new minerals that are coming are minerals that will be near to the benefit of us, because we insist that the right things done, that we insist that value additions be done in country, that we insist. For example, we are talking about the mining industry. 30 years ago, I'm sure the technology required to do mining was not in place. So, for example, big companies will come here and they'll bring all the experts to come and undertake all the development, all the services. I'm talking about millions and billions of dollars. We must begin a process of indigenizing these services and building the capacity of Ghanaians to be in a position to also run large mining companies. I believe that we can do that if we get and set our minds to it and put in systems that support indigenous Ghanaians in this effort. And as Minister, and I think with my record as a key driver of local content, I think I want to bring that in the mining sector.
Okay, so you mentioned indigenizing the sector, and you were in leadership in the 8th Parliament. So you were aware of the lithium agreement that was brought. The former Deputy Minister has spoken to the content in parts. Chiefly 30% dedicated local participation. How do you appreciate, or what lessons can you glean from the lithium agreement that was brought by the MPP administration to Parliament, in the 8th Parliament? Lessons.
I think we must take these matters on a case-by-case basis. And as Minister, as I've indicated, I am going to this ministry with a mindset that negotiations must, of necessity, make sure that Ghana, the people of Ghana, have all the advantages, that will build Ghanaian capacity, that will make sure that in-country spend is increasing every day, that will make sure that we position even the Ghanaian private sector to be in a position to do some of these works. Because when they do, their capacity, their revenues, and the money they get stays in this country. And I believe that that is what I will do as Minister if I'm given the chance.
Okay, Honorable, your then minority, some of your colleagues on the Energy Committee then, relative same lithium agreement, were not in support. And it's not debatable, it was a fact. They were resisting that agreement. On hindsight benefit, and also being told the fact, as the Deputy Minister rightly reiterated those facts in terms of the content of the agreement, would you say that your approach to that agreement then was wrong? You were not patriotic? If you had thought about it again, it's an agreement that should have been allowed to be passed?
Chairman, I think this must be put in perspective. They were not in support of what? The agreement had different facets to it, with different issues. People have specific, genuine concerns about different aspects of the agreement. And so I think that it is going to be so unfair to just simply say that we're against the agreement. The problem is individuals and even people on the other side of the aisle were not comfortable with certain provisions here and there. And as members of parliament, I think we must respect that.
Well, I do not remember any parts of the agreement that we then majority was not in support of. If you do, share with this committee and go further to elucidate on the part of the agreement that your side was against.
I've said that the agreement went to the committee and never came back to the floor. And I think that it will be a little bit of a futile exercise to talk about an agreement that is still with the committee that never came to the floor for us to deal with it. And so I don't know where you're driving at, but that's my point.
Honorable Leader, what I'm basically driving at is, I get your sense of patriotism, and you keep harping at it. We shouldn't be repeating mistakes of the past. And I know you agree with me to that end. So, our inability to pass that agreement must be as a result of some disagreement. Tell us, what were the issues with the agreement on your side, and why were you not supporting its passage?
And I think what I can say, and if I want to agree with you, I think that when it comes to representing our people as members of parliament, and will this endure to the benefit of the people of Ghana? And I think when somebody is speaking about the big elephant in the room,